Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, August 2nd, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today is a Canadian Tunisian multi genre artist. And he is not only just an artist, but he is a music and video producer. So, without further ado, Fashion Dolls, let's welcome to the dollhouse Malik I.
Hey,
Hello. Hello. Can you
how
see
are
me? Can
you?
you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you. It's my first time ever in the live chat. So,
Welcome, welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you here.
well, thank you. Really, it's nice. It's nice to finally be here with you, but having the chat. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, 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 yes. So before we kick off this conversation, how has 2024 been for you so far? Because you've sent me a numerous amount of things that you've worked on. We'll get into that in this interview as well. But how has 2024 been for you so far?
It's been good. Well, like for me, I think Miss Stevie, like every year is a blessing. So no matter what happens in the year, it's a blessing. It's whatever it brings us. I don't know. Being alive, it's and healthy is the most important thing. Like that, we we're lucky, and we
Yes.
have to see it no matter what. So yeah, but it's been a great year, like talking about our collective, finally. Well, it was a band before, like Two Oceans in One Sea, but it just became like a collective, and it's nice to not
Yes.
be pushing by myself and have like really talented artists joining in and also spreading the love and their artistry. So yeah, it's been I've been blessed, you know. So no complaint.
Yes. Now let's start at the beginning of your journey because you've already touched on Two Oceans and One Sea. We'll get into that. But you started your musical journey at the age of 14 years old. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I started doing music, I'm from Tunisia originally, so from North Africa. So when I in Tunisia, there weren't like a lot of genres of music, back then. So when I was there, I'm a big fan of hip hop, and so we started MCing, and we started our first band. So we're one of the pioneer bands of hip hop in Tunisia, and it was interesting, So we would go, like, let's say, to the at the time they had cassette tapes. So we went to the ones that were distributing all the cassette tapes, Tunisia, it was called Soca. So we go there, like, kind of excited and everything. Hey, we got songs, we got this and all that. And they look at us and they're like, "What you talking about? You're crazy. You're doing rap in Tunisia. What's going on? It's like so that was like the era that we were doing music in, and now when I see like hip hop just, well, not just in Tunisia but booming everywhere, and it's like the new well, it's everything. Like there is no rock anymore, like hip hop took over, so and there's so many different genres in hip hop, and every country they have their artists, and so it's nice to see that after, I guess, more than 20 some years. So
Now, speaking of hip hop, you've also played a pivotal role in the Tunisian hip hop movement. What is that like? Because you're not only just an artist, but you are a video and music producer. And you also DJ, you are a lyricist. So what was it like shifting the movement in Tunisia with hip hop music?
well, I think we just wanted a voice at the time, and you started writing, and then I was like really lucky. In my crew, we had really good lyricists as well. So it was nice to be able, because it was conscious rap, we still do like somehow, but was the era, so we had to have a message. We got a lot of, it was the time with the last Tunisian, well, not the last, the second Tunisian president, Ben Ali, he who was a dictator, and like media was like all censored and everything. So we got a lot of, so let's say we have an interview like right now, like I'm with you, like in the interview, and let's say I just bring up, oh, we talk about youth problems. They were like, cut. There is no problems in
Right.
Tunisia. So you can't. There is a lot of people that think that they can. Well, they're lucky; they can say everything, but it's not in every country that you have the freedom to just say something or be or just anything else. So it was interesting to navigate through that. So we had to kind of adapt with our lyrics and make them like, so you have to have a certain level and read between the lines, because if not, you can pay the big price of going to jail and everything. So yeah.
So,
So
and in certain countries, yes, absolutely. And I agree with this climate that we are in right now as we speak. We are seeing the shift in hip hop music where artists are being more conscious and aware as to what they say and what they do. So they are now stepping outside of the bounds and doing things that are out of their comfort zone, but still they're being careful because there are repercussions, as you stated. Now, what I love about you is that you establish yourself as a trailblazer in both French and Tunisian hip hop music. Again, if you are the trendsetter, you are carving your own path out for you. What is it about music that makes you feel so passionate?
I think like for me, music is just what I just relate to it, like to the nice moments in life when your heart tinkles, like almost like and you just hear it, and on a bad day, and you just get out all those you know bad emotions, and you can go and join in like a moment in time too. I was watching this movie called The Greatest Hits, and I loved it. It's just at a moment she thinks about a song, she gets back into the moment, and I think music can do this to us, and it's like one of the mediums that I just remember like happy times, like my dad driving and playing James Brown in the car, or
Mm.
just play Otis Redding like in the head, and kind of like just seeing like happiness and everything. But I always loved, let's say, soul, hip hop, and R&B from the 90s, especially 90s 2000 and everything. But I still do, but also reggae, dance hall, all kinds of genres, because you mentioned it. So I DJed before, and in Tunisia, the way it goes, you just bring up like different styles and different genre in the same party to touch everyone, because everyone has to dance. So it's not necessarily, a certain genre. So it gets you to appreciate different kind of music, but also in different languages too. That's being from North Africa and from Tunisia. We have a lot of, we're exposed to different languages, and so it's really, it's nice to be able to speak different languages, but also hear different languages and hear different music and different genres. So yeah.
Absolutely. And you've mentioned James Brown. So who are some other of your musical influences? Because we get a blend of American, Tunisian, French. We get all of that in one. And when I was saying that yesterday with my guest that I had on for the magazine that I write for, because I write for a magazine, Original magazine UK. You guys know that. I'm a part of the fashion column. Everybody has their niche. So what I love about your music, because you've sent me some of your music, is like it's a blend of island, it's a blend of French, it's a blend of Tunisian, it's a blend of American hip hop. It's all in one. You can't put a label on it. So for you, who are some of your musical influences? You've mentioned James Brown, your father playing James Brown for you. So who are some other musical
Of
influences
course,
for you?
for me, I'm gonna say MJ because
Oh,
Michael
King of
Jackson,
Pop.
it just has been. I don't know, with my mom listening to the Jackson Fives, but it also, like me, I remember like starting not just listening to him, but I was at the history tour in Tunisia with my grandma, which was one of the best gifts and best memories I have, you know, with her. But also talking about my grandma, the music also kind of started with her. She plays the oud. So here you have, a woman in Tunisia playing the oud. And like, I remember just seeing her playing it, but also singing. And at the time, she couldn't sing because women were not allowed to sing when they were from a certain, in a certain class or so things like that, that it's just like kind of like, and you see her like how she brings up music and talking about that oud, the lute, the instrument she plays with. So last uh 4 weeks ago I was in Tunisia and I brought it back with me. So now I have kind of a piece of her and kind of, well, not a closer, but I kind of having her with me and in my studio where we create, various stuff. And I think like her energy must be there. So, and but I think also the music, like the music, what we are been doing, I think not just because of me, it's because every artist is bringing a bit of them in this project. And it's just, and like you said, you mentioned the islands. We have like someone like originally from the Virgin Islands, but we also people from Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, different places, Persian, like all. Like, well, for me, it doesn't have any boundaries. Music is a place where everybody's welcome. So no
Yes.
matter which like race you are, and it's just the door is open, and it's so beautiful when we kind of mix in together and just have like this nice potion, nice recipe that I don't know, gives us therapy. Like for me, music is my therapy session. That's
Uh,
how I see it. So
and that was going to be my next question for you. With everything that is going on in this climate, um, writing for you, where do you pull the inspiration to write? Because we'll get into to your band, Two Oceans in One Sea, in a minute. But where do you find the inspiration to write from? Because I know a lot of singers, they have to be in their element when they are writing music. So for you, where do you pull the inspiration from to write?
I would say like it's just sometimes I would wait like there like the last song that I been writing. I think I waited for the moment. It's like I felt like a blockage in a sense, but a blockage of emotions, not like the writer's block or anything like that. It's just like some emotions that are like kind of stuck somewhere. So talking about like writing, let's say the song "Viva la Música" with the that we have an artist from Cameroon, an artist from Ivory Coast, like two artists from Burkina Faso, an artist from the Virgin Islands, and it's a collaboration between Tunisia to Canada and the U.S. This song kind of came in from just like a divide in that was created in Tunisia, So with kind of like with the black African migrants. So it's just like instead of just start saying, you shouldn't be like this, shouldn't be like that. I'm like, we need to send a message of unity. So that the lyrics for "Viva la Música," so long live the music. Viva la Familia, Long Live Family, kind of came in, and that
Mm.
started the whole thing. But then to get that, you need to have like people that also see the vision, but also are willing to create with you and go with you above and beyond. And was really lucky to have like Don Asley, who is like this engineer from Burkina Faso, who just took on like the vision and just was like, okay, I'll make a beat for it. So I gave him some stuff and we started like creating. So he just sends me this. I'm like, okay, let's add this, let's add that. And then we got this artist who's also from Burkina Faso, but who sings in Tula, which is one of the languages in Burkina Faso. And so we got him to get the song. So he opened the song and all his energy, I think too, and all the energy there, draw other artists in. And we got like this artist from Cameroon, who is actually a local artist from Ottawa here. And so he came in into the project and we added another country to it. And then we got Prince Mike, who I collaborated with in other tracks. He, kind of took us his time to come in, and then he came in into the track and brought in his energy. And then we got another artist who was based in LA, Hollywood Junkie, who is originally from the Virgin Islands, who just put on his sauce too. And here you have a track. So I would say inspiration comes from moment in time, and sometimes it's just opportunities and also other artists that will inspire you. So you inspire them, they inspire you, and then you create together. So I think it's
Now,
just, yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was
No,
going
no,
to
no,
go
go
over.
ahead. Yeah, yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying about two oceans and one sea. I love the sole mission of you guys' band. Now, the mission is to amplify voices from diverse countries, languages, cultures, and musical styles. How prevalent in that is that in this climate that we're in right now, is where we're seeing people from different walks of life, as you stated in the beginning of this conversation. You're seeing everyone blend together. So how is it seeing everything come together beautifully? And you guys have a single out, Viva La Musica, as you've mentioned. You've sent it to me, and I loved it. Easy listening, very great to listen to. And what else I love about it is that you can put it on, you can dance with your friends. It's the type of song that you would go and hang out with your friends, or you would put on if you're in the process of getting your day started. So, recording. What is it like blending all of these fusions together and blending them?
I think for this song, I think I'm really proud of this song, but also proud of the energy that came from this song and all the, togetherness, and just, but also as artists to be your own ambassador. And even if like your country,
Yes.
leaders will war, or like both countries are at war, well, as an artist, you can decide to go in and join in forces because you believe, let's say, in humanity. That we don't need to be, like have political parties or anything like that. We can just have like some things that we have to join together, and especially during this time.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
we need to find ways also to, but we have to go above and beyond and go find them, because right now the divide is easy, it's so easy, that we start hating on each other, and you know, what can we do? But again, is that a new thing? We have to also see again in history kind of repeats itself. So
Yeah.
I lived actually in the States, but I was living in the States. I lived for 10 years, and it was the Bush era, and the Bush era came in also September 11. And let me tell you, when you're like from Tunisia and like you're 16, like they had like the special registration. So if you're 16 and up and from Tunisia, which is like, a potential terrorist country, man, well, it wasn't easy to live in the States. So, but again, all this, whatever happened, all this hate and divide and stuff. And when you see it and stuff, and you try to kind of break it in a sense, but be stronger and be also articulate in what you're gonna say, what
Yes.
you're gonna do. So like for me, the response to that was like I went in and studied international relations and affairs, and I have my master's degree from the States in that. And I think when you get to that level, also you when I got into conversations, sometimes people, and they're don't have like a lot of education, some of them, and sometimes they start saying things, but I would go in and get into a conversation with that person, let's say, who just said like, "Oh, you terrorist" or whatever. So, and it's just kind of like you sometimes you can't just take it and be like, "Oh, you're this and you're that." You have to kind of
Right.
get back and kind of go talk to that person. And I'm telling you, at some conversations I had with the person saying, "Sorry, I didn't know, and I didn't know." But it's just you have to. It's hard. It's really hard, and I've seen it also. Like also the racial divide and everything. Like, and I lived in the States, but it's just, but also I see it sometimes even within friends and cliques, and I would just be like, we need to break it, and we need to break this, hate with LGBTQ community with this person because so we need to. I would try to it's tough sometimes, when you mediate, kill the messenger. It happens, So some people will not. But again, I think with as artists, also we, we have to do something. So small or big, we have to do something. You can't just be silent, and silence is an answer. They win. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's Nina Simone who said a quote, "It is the job of the artist to tell people's story and message." And one of my guests just recently said that, Bo Emerson, he said that it is the job, he quoted Nina Simone, and she said the same thing. That's what she said. She said, it is the job of the artist to tell the people's story, because right now, as you said, we definitely are seeing a division. Like, and I put up my post earlier, racism in this country has now come to a complete head, because you know who is running for election again, and we're seeing people show their true colors. So, with the racial division in this country, artists are now telling their stories. So, thank you for bringing awareness to that, because I have been touching on that throughout the week in bits and pieces on my platform here. Whenever I get a chance to, I always slide it in. But we're seeing it now come to the surface. Like, it's been there. Racism is out loud and proud in this country. And we're now seeing it show up, because we have someone who is basically being a voice of that, and you know disrespecting other
mhm,
marginalized groups of people, and wanting to exclude them. So I think that we need music in these times right now, because music tells the story of the people. You are telling someone's story, and you never know. And I tell people this all the time here on my platform. You never know what a person's story or testimony could be unless you sit and you have a conversation with them. So I think a lot of the tension in this country comes from us not understanding each other, not sitting down how we're doing now, and we're having this dialogue on things that we understand that is going on in this climate. And this election cycle, I must say that racism has definitely been brought out by this other individual, who is running for re-election again and trying to have total dictatorship. And I don't think people realize the
mhm.
gist of what a dictatorship means. You can keep people separated and divided, whereas we need to come together and unify more than ever. So thank you, Malik, for pointing that out. I didn't tell him to say this again, ladies and gentlemen. You guys think that I make my guests say things? No. This is how people are thinking right now. We need to be together more than ever right now in this climate. And it takes unity. So thank you for pointing that out with music, because music does bring people together. Like, remember when they were doing the verses when the
Mhm.
pandemic broke out? Um, Shout outs to Swiss Beats and Timbo for that. Um, they've given us the verses, seeing all of our favorite artists come together and share their hits with us. That's what brought people together was music. So music
Hmm.
literally has the power of bringing people together, and not only just that, but saying the things that people are afraid to say, or might know someone who's been through a similar situation, or it might hit close to home, like, wow, I've been through this. You could put on a song and you could listen to it and you could think, I've been through this situation and this artist is speaking to me. So, how do you feel about music touching the souls of people? And do you ever get messages from people that listen to your music and say, thank you? I've been through this. We thank you for touching on this subject.
So really, with what you just said, that we really need to stand together. But again, music is so powerful. And
Yes.
talking about like a collaboration that was so powerful. It's We Are the World, with all these artists that got in together,
Oh,
and even AIDS, for Africa, and like so many like artists that got in together when for purpose that didn't necessarily like touch them directly. And it was like for the world. Like sometimes you have to think not just about yourself, but also as for the world as a whole, as we are like just one. We are the world, we are the children, and
yes.
just words like this that we have to remind ourselves, because it's, there is a lot of good that happens even within the chaos, and even within the divide, and we gotta go again and revisit it and rethink about it. But talking about songs that would touch a soul, or so I have like, I'll mention two songs. So one of them is this song is called Cancer. And I'm a cancer survivor, so it's been 10 years that I'm cancer free,
Wow.
so knock on wood. And the song, it took me some time to get it out. And even like when you listen to the lyrics and everything, it's just kind of reviving, resurrecting, like things like that that kind of came in the song that are like, well, that were powerful to me to write that song, to write it, because at first it was just a poem, and it took me some time to get out my emotions. Again, like I said, like when you have sometimes some emotion blockage, it gets to you, can eat you up in a different sense, can eat up your bones. So it's just when I wrote that song, it was just a great way to exteriorize kind of like that feeling. But at first, like I said, it was just a poem. But then at some point, I met this another great artist that we collaborate with. His name is Paul Anthony and Will Haven. And so he brought in the beat, and I was like, there is something about this beat that we have to. I got moved, and I then went to the studio and we did the song. But then the song sat down for like a year or so because something was missing in that track. And then Prince Mike, that I mentioned, that I did Viva la Musica, who is also one of the members of the collective, I sent him the song, and he's like, he was moved from it. And after being moved from it, he goes like, okay, he sent me something, and I'm like, wow, okay, now I am moved. And so that song, we decided to release it, and that song now has the most streams, has like 75,000 streams on Spotify, and also even the music video and everything. But I got a lot of people that came and reached out and were like, I lost, I lost my, close family member to cancer,
Sorry.
and it's nice. It's nice that you mentioned that, and that we're talking about it. And but then I got also a friend of mine that when she was doing cancer, I was going with her through chemotherapy sessions, and that song touched her, and she wrote this something that she's a gladiatrix and everything, and how she lost both breasts and everything. I don't know. It's just something like it got people talking and everything, and we have to talk about those things and like talk about emotions and the good and the bad. And so this song was. I don't know. I think I'm glad I got to do it, but I just was tough to just release it and just bear it all in a sense with the emotions and everything because it took me years to get those emotion out. Because even when I was sick and I was doing chemo and all that, I couldn't cry. It's like I had it's it's a different kind of because cancer touches you also like in a different way.
Yeah.
So not just attacking your body, but also attacking you as as your soul and everything. So I'm glad I did that song, but I'm glad like I'm cancer free, and I hope it doesn't come back. But again,
Look at God.
we have to be aware and go get checked out if we have a feeling. And I know in the States it's tough because talking about that, I lost a dear friend of mine that I wrote La Vida for, a song, one who
Sure.
is from the States. And talking about that because of the States, you don't have insurance, so you can't really go in and see a doctor. A lot of people don't know that. So one, by the time he gets in, like in the hospital, he was stage 4 and that's it. Only had like 1 month to live. I lived with him. So it's like he's a dear friend of mine. But things like that is just like kind of like, okay, it's a reminder that I survived, but I gotta talk about it, and talk about those stories. So the behind the music is important. And
Yeah.
talking about another song, we got this song's called "Keep on Walking" that we did with Hollywood Junkie, his mother, Frankie, who is like in 70s, 80s. I don't know her age, but and then we got also somebody that was like 14 years old, Pau, who is from Spain, who was rapping in Spanish in that track. And then we have Prince Mike, and man, and of course Don Asley did the mixing. But this song got in a lot of people talking and be like, I was not feeling good, and when I heard that song, keep on walking, leave the stress behind you, leave the stress behind. So things like that about lyrics too that come like sometimes I was stressed out, I went outside, and then this thing it came into my head, this chorus. So and then it starts up a whole song, but the beauty of it is also Frankie was always wanted to sing, and she was really happy. It was so sometimes also you do songs kind of like it's it's a gift, It's like gifts are not just
Yeah.
material; they're different ways of gifting, and it's so nice to also share her voice, with the world, and she's also in the video. So we got a lot of people that were touched from that track as well. So
You've touched on, and I'm sorry for all your losses. Like, that's a powerful testimony. Again, Fashion Dolls, I don't make my guests say what they're saying, they tell their stories. Again, but that's powerful. You survived all of these things, all of this turmoil, all of this tragedy, and you are still here telling your story. What are some of the most impactful memories of the people that were close to you that you've lost? Because I know for me, I lost my sister, and losing a friend or a sibling, that is a different kind of pain. It hits close to home. And
mhm,
I will never forget the day that my sister's funeral took place. This was back in 2018. And sitting at that, I was stoic the whole time. My mom, looking at her, she broke down like my baby girl is gone. Like a parent, you don't ever want to lose your child
mhm,
before it's your time to go. For the parents out here, I'm not a parent, I don't have kids, but I have nieces and nephews, and I
good,
know what it's like to watch a parent lose their child. So my sister, I can't believe my sister is gone to this day. June 29th is her birthday. And so I didn't do a show that day. So that's a different kind of pain of losing somebody. So for you, what is an impactful memory that you use in your music of the loved ones that you've lost?
again, like I said, my grandma, I
Mm,
actually recorded a song, like, recorded her just playing the oud. Like, it was, maybe 25 years ago. And then one day I was like in the studio with, Blaise, who was like actually a member of Ocean 1C. Now he's working on his other project called Mental. So when I sent him that, he's like, okay, let's do something. And we did this song from it, from that video. So kind of remembering her and kind of honoring her. And like I said
Yeah.
earlier with the story with the oud and everything, and just thinking about them, but keep on the memories in. Like right now, I'm trying to write, hopefully, what would be maybe, I don't know what it is, a short story maybe, but it's the life of my grandma was an amazing woman, one of the leaders of the emancipation, like women emancipation in Tunisia, and
Yeah.
she did a lot, and so looking forward to be able to like share her story. So that's I've been working on it. You know, I'm not ready yet, but that's a way for me kind of to remember like dear people, but especially people that touch
Yeah.
you in different ways. One, this song La Vida that I did. I remember writing the lyrics in Spanish because my Spanish was like it's the fifth language I picked up, and I was in LA, and he was my neighbor, so I was writing it, and then I would go to him and be like, "Hey, is this good?" So he helped me through it, and then when he passed away, he finally finished up the song and dedicated the song and the video to him. So trying to remember them, but it doesn't have to be a piece of art. It could be like even like something you do on your own. It doesn't have to be do something, when you think about them, do something that they love, eat a dish that they love, something as simple as that. So not just having the memory, but making it, um, including it in your life. So not just having the memory, so the past becomes the present, and then it can, that's it, travel to the future. I don't know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Give a shout out to Tony Holly. Make sure you guys please go and check out Tony's platform. Amazing. He's a good friend of mine. So it's like a clique of us. It's me, K Tukes, Tony. We all roll together. So make sure you guys please go and check him out. And he was also here on the show with me. So we guest co-hosted together. That was pretty fun. So make sure you guys go and check him out. Had to give him a shout out here.
Of course.
But on to good news, because you've talked about building a legacy. We've talked about the past. Now let's talk about the future of Two Oceans and One Sea. Are you ready for it? Now, the track In the Heart remix achieved top 80 Billboard ranking. Do you remember where you were when you got the call on this amazing news? This is amazing. This is fabulous right here. So, do you remember where you were when you got the news that your single that you took part in, because as a collective, you guys, you gentlemen together, wrote and produced and put this masterpiece together? Do you remember where you were when you got the notice or just the alert that your single made top 8?
I think I was like, wow, okay, let's get all the guys in and let's celebrate, even though from distance. And this is one thing also about this collective, because a lot of the collaborations are being made overseas. So we don't necessarily meet. We met some of the members and everything. Some of us met at a certain point in time, but it was this song in the Heart remix is just its story is like also funny in a way, because so we released the first version, the original version. It was me, Hollywood Junkie, Spezzo, and so that's we released that version, and then I sent it over to one of my friends in Tunisia who is also an artist, and he goes like, I like it, but this is how I see it. And he sends me out that remix. And it's just like, so we heard it, and then I send it over to Hollywood Junkie, and he goes like, "Oh, we need to do this one. We need to get this one out. This is a hit." Like, all right, we'll find a way. So we had a lot of obstacles, of course, like everybody else in this. But when we released it, we started having like a lot of different people like reacting to it. So when you start getting a
Yeah.
different crowd, because we do like different genres, and I would say sometimes we bridge in a bit through the dance, but mostly like the dance from the 90s. Dance from the 90s had also a rap element to them. I don't know if you
Yes.
remember a lot of it, like with a lot of the bands that from Germany and stuff. They had like, and even Snap and like Two Unlimited, all these bands, they had like always that element to them, like even Faithless. And so you I love that also the dance, so let's do it. So we did that track, but was really overwhelmed with what the track did. So sometimes you have to kind of release the damn thing. Somebody said it last time at the workshop. I was like, at, and he goes like, release the damn thing. Because sometimes as artists, you're like, I know it needs this, it needs that, it needs this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's never perfect for you. But imperfection is beauty also. Beauty is in the eye of the
Oh,
beholder.
absolutely.
So, but the show must go on, like Freddie Mercury would say. So,
Now, Therapy Sessions, the album, let's talk about it because you guys collaborated with artists, producers from Mediterranean, Africa, as you mentioned in the beginning of our interview, and the Pacific and Atlantic regions. How important was it for you guys to get this project out here to the world? Because the theme of today's show, believe it or not, you guys, I wanted each show, I always try to do a theme, and I know you guys are wondering what is the theme. Today's theme is unity. Right now, we're seeing a lot of division with what's going on right now in our country, this up and coming election cycle. But how important was it to have such a message stick with people on unity and coming together? We see in the different continents of the world come together, as you've mentioned, Africa, Tunisia, Paris, France, all of them come together and blend and work on music. How important was it to have this message in you guys' project?
I think it's like one of the starts becoming clear, like the message of the band with the first collaboration that we did, and we saw, the power of working with somebody from a different country that brings in a
Yeah.
different perspective, but also, this friendship, like that, we're similar, we're artists, even though we're like living in different places, even though it's really cold out here, over there it's super hot, we still
Yes.
we still like breathe, eat, human beings. And it's just like, but I think it's like everybody, the way I see it, you're preparing a dish. And if you want to be a kick-ass dish, you need to have the best ingredients, the best spices. And everyone brings up their spice. And that's what makes it magical at the end. So
I love what you
how
just
the,
said. I love that.
I think that's how the project just became clearer that it's just, it's, we have to work together. And I'm so like delighted to have like, the other members of the collective, Prince Mike from Burkina Faso, Hollywood Junkie from LA, who is from the Virgin Islands, and Don Asley, who is, our engineer and our, lab man who just would like start making it. But it's the beauty of it is also it's not just different countries; it's also different ages or different
Yes.
like
Cultures, all
representation
of these
cultures
things. Yeah.
within the subcultures and everything, and it's just kind of having this open door policy in a sense. Like, okay, you have something to bring to the table. Let's see, and I think that's what is making this project really interesting, but necessary in a sense because we all again like the therapy sessions. I think we all also agree that we need music as our therapy session. So,
I love what you just said. You must have caught my show from yesterday with Mick because that is something that I said. Writing for this publication, I said, and you guys heard me yesterday, I said, writing for her publication is sort of like a gumbo because she added me to the group and there's so many different people from so many different walks of life and continents in different parts of the world. Like you have some that are in the USA, I'm in the USA, and then you have some that are in Sweden, some that are in the UK. Mick is from the UK. So I said it's like a gumbo collectively because you're seeing different spices, different things all in the gumbo. And in order to make the gumbo work, you're going to have something different in. Everybody's version of gumbo is going to be
Mhm.
different. So in order for us to work together in this whole thing, this election coming up, whether it may be music, we got to work together. Everybody's going to be different. Not everybody's going to be the same. God didn't want us all to be the same. You know, we're not a monolith. Everybody has their own identity. So I love that you said that. When you said spices and, you know, flavors, that's what I said yesterday on the show because literally everybody's cultural background, religion, whatever it may be, is different. And that's what I said yesterday. So yeah.
No, no, it's amazing. You know, we
Now,
need,
what?
yeah,
Go
go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm cutting you
No,
off.
no, no, go ahead. No, no, go ahead.
Yes, I was saying we're now in a happier mood right now because we're talking about unity. But
Yes.
you've also done some amazing things throughout your career. What are some of the things that you're proud of? Because I've went through and I've read your biography, and you've also attended California State University. You've also attended Santa Monica Community College down here in the United States, and you've also attended the Trebas Institute in Montreal. So tell us, what was it like attending all of these universities, getting all of this knowledge, different cultures, different everything? What was that experience like for you?
I would say, like, for me, learning is one of the most important things. So it's just like, I never learn enough. And really, these years of university, it was amazing because not only you're learning, you're also making friends, making family, like different families. And going to the States when I was 20 was amazing because I got to meet people from all over the world and just not just meet them, become friends with them, eat with them. And I think like that's the beauty of California, living in California. And I also lived in San Diego. I went to a school there, you know, called Alliance International University that is also with the USD states. So
Yes.
so it's also and that I got my master's there for international relations. I told you, but it just was amazing. Also changing city. I remember like being in LA. We're all in a bubble, and it's just like in that bubble, it's like floating in the air and everything. And then going to San Diego, it's like you have to pop that bubble and just come back to not back to reality. And it's just like it was a good wake up call, you know, because before moving from the States, because after the States I went to Canada, I think living in LA and even I was also doing acting. And uh, so just got to work in really interesting projects with interesting actors and everything. So it was good. It was another world that you get to. And after being like doing acting and well, I did modeling too before. Anyway, let's you know fast forward after that. After doing acting, I was like, I want to be able to make that movie. So I went into school and I went to a film school in Montreal and I got my degree there. And that's how I can do the music video, thanks to that.
Yes.
So, and also adding like your vision because sometimes, so I hear the song, when I hear a song, I see images as well. So some of the songs I see the images, but sometimes to just get those images out, you know, you cannot just go in and just get copy paste your images and bam,
Right.
you got a video. It doesn't work like that. So there's a lot behind it. And going to film school was amazing because I got to learn so many stuff and even technical stuff that I wasn't that technical. But again, you got to get the technical aspect to be able to master the creative aspect. And just, but also when I started also doing editing, here I was cutting the scenes that I directed for hours, but I had to cut them because it doesn't work. It doesn't like sometimes also thinking about, you know, that other side of the project. So there is so many different sides, you know, and yeah, so I think learning all of this is learning, you know, it was interesting. I studied linguistics as well, applied linguistics. Great. I love languages. I love learning, like I said, so anything. But again, music is my passion. But then I have different passions as well, and like you with fashion, and music too. So yeah.
Absolutely. And you develop so much knowledge. You got into that tapping ground. So, speaking of music and producing, how important is it to establish a rapport with your music partners, your bandmates, or acting partners, whomever? How important is it that you have a rapport with the people that you're working with?
I think the first thing like that when you do something, you gotta first of all acknowledge what everybody brings, either it's
Yes.
small or huge, and be thankful, for their collaboration because they're putting a piece of them in the project. So you have to never, you can't forget, like when I was like, for example, in film, so working on a shoot and with like 20 people. So the person that is only his job is only to bring coffee. He made something, you got to thank them, it's not like no
Yes.
job is not enough, every job matters. And just you have to, so with music, for me, I love working with different artists, but giving them also room for inspiration. So I try not to limit an artist when I'm working with them. I give them maybe like some guideline, and that's it. And then let them go, let them flow. But at the end, also get them involved and like
Yes.
and give them also not recognition. So also like giving credit. A lot of people don't really think about these things, but you gotta give credit. Like let's say in your video, it's not just the director that deserves credit. Everybody that worked in your video deserve that credit. And take the time to go get the name and every so like right now I'm doing like let's say a radio show after the radio show. So if I had an interview with an artist or I have their song, I ask them which links do you want me to put out, what do you want me to put on there. So just also being aware and include them, so not just because sometimes they will feel used, you know. And we know it. It happens in this field. We know it, like, and we all have an experience this way, and we didn't like it. So let's not do the same thing. So on
Yes,
that,
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we're going to go back to Two Oceans and One Sea for a minute. Now, you guys created your own collective label. What was it like transitioning into a label? You guys have the band, but what is it like transitioning into a label? And you guys started in December of 2023. What was it
mhm.
like starting your label? Yes.
It's it's something else, because right now there is a lot of admin work that goes behind the team,
Yes.
and you gotta have like you gotta be on point, be organized. But the thing is, what happens is like working together towards the same like goal really helps a lot, And like I said, everybody doing like something, a bit of this, a bit of that. Like let's say Hollywood Junkie is good with the promo, so he does promo. Prince Mike is good with the like let's say promo for Facebook. Let him do it. So also, kind of give delegate so and let everybody do their magic. And I think it's really helpful since we've been together, and it's been really a nice experience. But also having artistically speaking, it's really interesting to have different like the different thoughts on how it should be and coming together with something that we all like at the end. So that's also beautiful, So, but at the end, you have to do it, So if we agree on something, let's just release it. Let's say the other people won't agree for that track, fine,
Yeah.
maybe they will agree on the next. But you got to keep on with your vision. And as an artist, I think when you become also your own label, you I think Stefan, like you had Stefan in your show. So
Yes,
last time I interviewed Stefan.
Stephen
he-
Vance.
Yeah,
Yes,
Stephen
Stephen
Voice. Yeah,
Voice.
he was talking about the importance of cutting off the label and becoming his own label, because label
Yeah,
would just decide this song is not good for this project. So, but as an artist, and if you have feel that that song deserves to be released, you have to fight for it. So I
yeah,
think that's what it's tougher in a sense, but again, if you learn like the ropes and everything, you will get the numbers. But again, do
absolutely.
numbers define you? Not really. You know, you continue. You got to continue doing what you're doing. And that's it. And that's the most important thing. If it makes you feel good, that's the most important thing.
Now, before we get to some audience questions, my last question for you before we conclude and wrap up, we're going to do a game before you leave, Malik. But I'm glad that you touched on that, because when I touched on it with Steven as well too, it's the same. It's the response that you just said that he said, and that is if you are working with a label, a lot of independent artists, struggling which direction should they go. What are some pointers that you would give or advice that you would give to the next up and coming independent artist who is looking to start their own label? Because when I talked with Steven about that, I think that was something that he was considering doing. A lot of artists are starting to do their own thing, venture off from being up under, you know, a record label, but starting their own independently. What is some advice that you would give them to start their own record label?
I think really being organized is, is
Yes.
important.
It's key.
And just not with music, not just the fun part. Everything has even the funnest thing ever. At some point, it will have some parts that you don't like or dislike it, but you have to do. And the only way to get it moving, you have to do it yourself. Or get somebody that wants to help you, and you can give them credit or like get them involved, or get other people with you in the label, but people you trust and people that with the same vision. I think because you can't also do everything on your own, so even though you
Yes.
start something, but there is so many people like behind you, behind every one of us. We have like a lot of pillars, and sometimes I like to stay invisible, but man, they do like some amazing things, and don't necessarily always get acknowledgement that they deserve, But so have build your community. It doesn't have to be huge, one or two people, or just one person, and just go in and and then just every time you learn, there's always like some new things and mistakes here and there, but try to learn from the mistakes. So
And that is key. That is important. That is impartial into starting your own label. And I'm glad that you said that it takes a village, because it does take a team. Even though I do this platform by myself 5 days a week, I have people behind me that help me, that, give me advice, that give me pointers. And so far,
mhm.
it's been a breeze. I've been having so much fun. So, see, it's amazing to have a team of people working behind you, that are working with you along the way, that are encouraging you and making sure that you understand everything along the way as well, too. Doing it independently. It's a lot of work being an independent artist, but it is so worth it in the end result. So,
Yeah, but it
yes.
could be also a friend. Sometimes you just need to have like call a friend, be like, hey, this is like kind of I'm stressed out about this or that, because you can talk to
Yeah.
them openly. And could be something as simple as that, that they would give you the kick, the small kick you need to deliver,
That boost.
when you need to
Yes.
deliver that boost. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thank
All right, fashion dolls. Before we close out, we're going to do a quick game with Malik. I see we didn't have any questions, but the replay will be up if you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask him, because I will have him tagged, and you guys can head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie on YouTube. As soon as we get done, this will be uploaded there, so you guys can go and check it out. We are on the road to 700 shows, y'all. This will be
Wow.
show 653. Thank you all so much for your love and your support unconditionally. Tuning in every day, whether it's on your work break or catching it after work. You guys go back and watch. And thank y'all for going back and just checking it out and leaving your comments. And you guys can also go vote for your favorite look of the week. It is 4 looks, so you guys can go vote for that. And next week's lineup is up already, so you guys are set. Just keep checking my stories and follow. But now it is time to get into a new game I like to call. We do the rapid five, but we're going to do something called the Fab Five. So you guys know I love things that are luxurious, that are glamorous, that are beautiful. Malik, you have to tell me 5 things that are fabulous in your eyes. And what do you like?
All right, so we'll start with I would say the sea. The sea for me is just amazing. And last time I was in Tunisia, I got to see 5 different shades of sea, and you see it like from, and it was just amazing. Like always, like been fascinating me. The just there is
And
some
it's beautiful.
freedom.
It's so therapeutic.
Yeah,
It's
there is
something about
something about
looking
it.
at the ocean
Mhm.
or the sea. It's a
Yeah.
different kind of visual because when you're in your element or you're writing, is that and that's probably where you get some of your inspiration from.
Well, I have it so in some of my videos. You'll see it.
All
So
right.
second
So
thing, I would
yes.
say, flowers. And especially like now living
Flowers.
in Canada, because back when I was living in like warm countries, because I lived in Tunisia, I lived in California, which is the same weather, actually, like really the same weather. They're in the same part of the hemisphere, so that and even like the vegetation was similar. So coming to Canada and having like the winter, which is a beast, winter is coming, like they said in Game of Thrones, it's really a beast on its own, and but also appreciating season, but just being outside too, like things that we used to take for granted, like even in California.
Yes.
So just going outside is just wow. We're so lucky to have nice weather, but also seeing that flowers, blooming and everything. I take pictures like I'm an amateur, like take pictures of flowers, So I have like a page I think on Instagram, but it's just for myself, Just go in and it's nice. So yeah, that's my second. Now I gotta
Yeah.
think
You
about the third.
3 more. Yeah.
So you see, I don't know
Oh,
if you see it.
music, the turntables, art.
Turntables.
Yes.
Turntables. I'm a big fan of turntables. I told you I used to DJ and love this one too with the tree and the turntables. So it's an amazing shirt and so have a big collections of vinyls. And I love that moment talking about music. That I grab that vinyl and look at the artwork in it. It's so beautiful. It's almost like you have paintings. Look at the artwork and
Yes.
then open it up, get that vinyl and then just play it. And it's just, it's a beautiful moment. I do it during my day and when I have the time. And it just makes me kind of be inspired and rediscover music that you won't necessarily find on Spotify and everything. But it's just, I think it's the process of touching and the whole ritual. It's like a ritual behind it. So,
Yes. It's a different kind of feeling when you look because my father collects vinyls,
mhm.
and the first vinyl that I saw for him was Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and
Yeah,
then
it's
it
a
was
nice
Three
one.
Degrees, the girl group 3 Degrees. Those
So,
were the 2 vinyls that I saw, and then years later, as I've gotten older, when I went to visit my brother in New York, he had a room full of music. I mean, from every artist, from Lionel Richie to Diana Ross to Grace Jones,
wow.
and because I was a '90s baby. I was born up, in the '90s, and so for me, it was TLC,
Mhm.
it was In Vogue, it
Yeah,
was Mariah Carey, it was all of these artists, Whitney
involved, yeah.
Houston, Toni Braxton, so many. But I was just fascinated and enamored. Like his room was huge. I mean, like all alphabeticalized, everything. Like he had it all. But those were the first vinyls that I got exposed to, and we were told not to touch those records. We did not touch those records because you would get in trouble if you touch them. But I would just look at the packaging on the outside. But Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes and the 3 Degrees were the ones that I look at, and then it was an Isaac Hayes ones that he
Oh
had
yeah,
too.
Isaac
So
Hayes.
that
He
yeah.
has also really nice
Mm-hmm.
covers, Isaac Hayes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have a couple of his vinyls and also a bunch of vinyls from Diana Ross and so many different things. But also I got it. I don't have the Blue Notes, but I got Harold. I got like one of his vinyls too. So so that now with fourth thing. Okay, so trees. That's also another. I've been, when I traveled, also I tried to go see trees. I went to Sequoia to see like the largest trees there and Yosemite. But it's just like I've been kind of like always, but also to go in and sometimes even hug the tree. It's just like feel that energy. There's something about it that it's just, but also I don't know, almost like feel for them when they don't have their leaves and everything. But man, they're strong. You'll be surprised, especially in
Yes.
Canada. So, and in Canada, we're so lucky. There's so much nature. So you see like these forests and all these, it's nice. So sometimes you're biking and you see a deer, and so things like that. That
We
it's just
have
like,
those too.
yeah, no, it's beautiful, and it's just I think appreciating nature and being in touch with it,
Yes.
and even touching it. My mom would say, like, for the plants to be happy, she goes like, you have to caress them and take off the dust. So it's not just water them, and even go in and talk to them. But I don't go that deep with the plants to talk to them. But again, it's like it's really small things, because the dust prevents them from getting the water they need, but we don't think about it. So we just, we're caught up, but it's just small things, small details that we can just, again. So,
Yes. And it's such a good feeling. Nature is very therapeutic. I tell you guys all the time, whenever I go out and I edit my clips for the show, I always take a walk around my yard. And I kind of did one in my stories. And this is around the time the Met Gala was going on. It was springtime because it was like the 1st of May. So we seen a lot of flowers blooming and things. And I took a little story. So I hope I have it archived. But it was a beautiful flower, like a bird of paradise. I could not describe this flower, but it was the most beautiful flower, and I took a picture of it. So nature all around, it is something serene and peaceful about it when you go outside and you just get in tune with nature. So definitely, it's especially around these times. It's hot, of course, but the
mhm,
springtime is the best time because everything
definitely.
is starting to come out in color, full bloom. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and the different colors also, like sometimes in the winter here, like when and you have some of the red, some of the green,
Yes.
some of the yellow, and having all these colors, that nature is like doing on its own. I don't know. It's just like coming here and getting in touch, also getting out of the city. I think at some point it teaches you also to appreciate, pretty much what you have around you. But even in the city, sometimes you can get out a bit from the city, and here you are, you can get in touch with nature. So you don't have to stay in into the whole chaos and like, the metro, the noise and everything. So it's like sometimes you don't know, you feel trapped, but you can just go in and organize something, and you don't have to spend the night because I know it's expensive and all that. But sometimes we are caught up into what we think is, in, but we can make things in, we make them. So that's a
Absolutely.
different thing. So,
Absolutely.
so a fifth one,
Yes, the last one.
the last one. All right. This one might seem weird, but it's something that, so ants. So since I was a kid, I've been observing ants, and every time I go to a new country, I will go in and see if they have different kinds of ants. I don't know. It's always been something, and like I guess traveling. Like I got to travel to. I went to Central America, and I went also to. Never been to Asia. I've been to Uganda. Uganda is amazing. There's so many different things like in Uganda. It's like a small little paradise. You can find coffee in one side and like rice terraces on the other side. They have everything. Like it was such a beautiful discovery, and going to the other side of the equator too. So, so yeah,
Yes.
that, we can talk more, but
Oh my goodness. Hi, Nurse Chula. Welcome, Fashion Dolls. We are here with Malik I, and we just got through doing the top Fab Five, which is our new segment here to Style by Stevie, which is sort of like the Rapid Five, but it's five things that are lavish and extravagant that you have to call off in the list. So before we close out Fashion Dolls, this was such a great conversation, and the key of today's show is unity. Right now, we're seeing, as we stated, as Malik stated in the beginning of this interview, we're seeing a lot of division going on. And right now, it's time for us to come together more than ever and unite because we are powerful together as one. When we all get together and work together, you can accomplish it and get it done. So, before we close out, because this is such a great conversation, Malik, I wish we could go longer, but next time, because I'm going to bring you back on the show, I would love to bring you back in the fall. Um, what are some gems that you would like to leave to the audience today on unity and working together? Because that's the key soul theme of today's show.
I think it's just being open to dialogue and not take things personally. Like, really, because, like I said, well, I think I lived in three different countries. So people, of course, they don't know where you're from. Not a lot of people are necessarily educated. But
Yeah.
let's say, like something like, a simple thing, like say about Tunisia. A lot of people, I say Tunisia, they go Tanzania. And a lot of people, so instead of taking it like the wrong way, just say no, it's not Tunisia, and just we can tell them and point out where it is instead of
Yes.
so little things like that, And then again, also, like people like some people are not used to seeing people from a different culture or a different race, and at first they're not necessarily opening, or what we call here, like there is also what they call silent racism or polite racism. So they will be
Mm.
kind of not, you will not know that they don't like you, but again, so, they would, after that, you will hear maybe that they don't like. But what I'm saying is just, even to those people, don't put yourself into danger because some people are just, they don't go there. But
Welcoming or
just,
accepting, right?
yes, some people, maybe they're ready for a conversation or try, not necessarily, well, I know some people will really say some bad things that will offend every one of us. But again, sometimes there is room for conversation or find like other ways. I have a lot of people, that came after were like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought, but again, I'm like, you cannot put everybody in the same thing. Like, you cannot say, oh, I don't know, like African people, black people, like Arab people, whatever, you cannot put everybody in the
Yeah.
same boat, yeah. It's fine. I see where you're coming from, but again, we're human beings. We're different. It's not because we could be brothers, but we have different thoughts and different even political parties, or like it doesn't have to be like we're like human beings, and we're all entitled to have our own opinion, and we're different.
Or
We
believe.
are, yeah,
Right.
or believe, and we're different. Like, and we're we're not necessarily our culture, even though we're born somewhere or we have a certain color or like a religion, or maybe we don't have a religion. So it's just putting like everybody in that same, it's like there is a Tunisian saying, that says like, so just put everybody in a bag, in a plastic bag and throw it in to the ocean, I mean, that's not
Right.
everybody. So it's like try to, well, we have to be smart about it because you make more impact when you get less angry and maybe have room to educate than getting angry and showing off that they are right. When they say, "Oh, you're angry people," but again,
Exactly.
you're insulting people. That's it. But then you know, so it's tough. It's tough to be different, and but especially in those times with all the divide, but also all the wars going on almost at the same time too. It's really tough.
Absolutely.
The world is is in a bad shape right now. But again, there is hope. There is always hope. So we have to go in and push it more and spread it. Like all all we need is love. It's true. We need love, but we're not just love. We need to talk within among each other. And sometimes it's just sometimes you sit down with somebody and you eat together, even though one person is sitting on the floor and the other one is like I don't know, like eating differently. One eats with a chopstick, the other one eats with their hand. I think eating
Or a
together, like
spoon.
this,
It's different
yeah,
for everybody. Right.
I think eating together, we all want to enjoy a meal at the end of the day, and we all want to eat. So that let's see that, let's just instead of like seeing what we eat and what we don't eat, and how we eat and how we do this and how we do that. So I think finding ways, and giving chances, at least giving a second chance to somebody, you know, before putting the big X, you know. So I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to tie into what Malik just said before we close out today's show, today's final thought comes from Simone Biles, and she is doing outstanding in the Olympics right now and the Paris Olympics. I mean, medal after medal after medal. This is what she says: the unexpected is usually what brings the unbelievable. And in these times right now, as Malik just stated, you never know. From eating food, I think food brings people together as well as music. Sitting down and taking a moment out of the day to have a conversation with someone, to find out it can be different political backgrounds, it can be different whatever. Sit down and talk to that person, because at the end of the day, we all bleed what? The color of my nails, red. We all bleed red at the end of the day.
Mhm.
But food brings people together. You might create a relationship with that person or establish a rapport with that person just from cultural differences aside. And that is what makes us so all unique. Because when God created this world, he
Mhm.
said, I'm going to add a little bit of this, I'm going to add a little bit of that, I'm going to add a little bit of this, and give this person one more of this. We're not all the same. And one of my guests, I tell you this story all the time. He said, what is something that sets you aside from other talk show hosts? I said my personality, my style, my fashion. I have a
Mhm.
different outlook. I mean, I dress like some of the runway models, have the face of some of the runway models, but I'm just your average everyday girl here from South Carolina, and reporting the news and touching on things that I know that affect all of us in the world as people. So that's what makes me different from other talk show hosts. And everybody has their own flavor, their own personality, their own style, their own cultural belief, their own background. But as Malik just stated, music can bring us together. So I love what Simone said, which is the unbelievable. It will shock you when you find out that you're sitting and you're having a conversation with someone and you might have a similarity with that person. Now, I would I have a conversation with a Republican? It's gonna take me a while. It's gonna take me a while because of everything that is going on in the party. It's a lot. But listen, you never know what a person's story could be. As Malik shared some of his testimony in the beginning of this conversation, you guys have to go back and watch all the way from the beginning. The replay will be up. You never know what a person's story could be. Or you look, sometimes we look at a person's picture and we form a judgment off of
Mhm.
that person's picture right off of that. And I've even done it from time to time. I'm not gonna lie
We
and say I haven't,
all
but I
do it,
have. I've
you
looked
know.
at a
Yeah.
person's picture and I've said, "Oh my God, this person looks mean. What if they hate me?" And then when I sit down with the person, they are just as sweet as can be. Oh my God, Jesus. You find out totally different things about
Mhm.
sitting down and having a conversation with this person. So expect the unbelievable fashion dolls. And I want you guys to remember that heading off into the fall. We are now in a new month. Tomorrow will be August 3rd. So make sure you guys take the time to cherish and sit down and have a conversation with someone. I see you, Mickey. We're gonna get to work on that August article, boss lady. I just seen the message flash down. So again, remember that. So Malik, where can everyone follow you and check out your music and your art? It was such a great conversation, and thank you for just highlighting. I didn't even have a theme set, but I just said that's perfect. How crazy is that? It's like deja vu. You were reading my mind, and I said unity is what we need right now. Because I have been posting these little quotes about working together and what we need to do to win this election. Trump cannot win. Plain and simple. He cannot. He's talking dictatorship, you guys. And you guys know how dangerous it is. So, where can everyone follow you and check out your music? Thank you again so much for such an amazing conversation.
Thank you for having me. It was a real pleasure having this conversation with you, and also learning from your experiences, and just also, you all this what brought the conversation. We started one conversation and took us to another conversation. So it's nice the way it flowed. So I can be followed at the collective can be followed at Two Oceans and One Sea in all the platforms, Spotify, YouTube Music, and but also on IG and on Facebook. Now, my stuff, like you can follow me on Malachi uh, on YouTube, so on my YouTube channel, and you can also find me on Instagram or Facebook, also Malachi. So, so yeah,
Thank you,
we didn't
Malik.
talk about the radio show, but that's it. Now, yeah, I also have a radio show with Mapped Out Radio, which is really like interesting to be able to work with those guys at CKTU 93.1 FM, and so I just yesterday or yeah yesterday I was an official volunteer, for the radio. So that's a good yeah, so that was a good news. So they liked it. And last show I had Stephen voice. So I had his interview and really nice interview that we had. He touched on mental health and with his
I
song
touched,
Paralyzed.
yes.
So it was really nice. It's good. I think another thing like that I want to do is give voices to the other artists because not give a floor. So now that they give me the chance, I'm also given the floor. So yeah.
And I'm glad that you touched on mental health because that's something that I talk about a lot here on my platform all the time. Fashion Dollars, they will tell you that I touch on that and I advocate for mental health and getting
Mm-hmm.
therapy where therapy is needed. You have to talk to someone and
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you are taking care of yourself. So I'm all about self care and I talk a lot about mental health here on this platform. So make sure you guys are taking good care of yourself. Where this is going to be a fight, but I want you guys to make sure that you
Mm-hmm.
protect your peace because it is sacred. Remember that. So, Malik,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for a great interview. I would love to have you back on again in the fall, and I'm going to forward you those fall dates as soon as I get off, and this interview will be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. So head on over and subscribe and hit that bell because this is show 653. We are on the
Wow.
road to 700 shows, y'all. So this is going to
That's
be a journey.
amazing.
All right?
It's amazing,
Joining
you
me
know.
next week. You were saying, I'm sorry?
I said that's amazing, you know, that you're almost reaching 700, you know. Congrats.
It's
So,
thank you so much. It's a journey, it's a ride. And joining me next week, Fashion Dolls. Joining me Monday, we have Kenyon Glover. He will be joining me here in the Dollhouse. The lineup is up, so make sure you guys check out the post. Everything is up, and this show will be up. And Malik, thank you again so much for this well needed
my
therapeutic
pleasure.
conversation. Thank you.
Thank you
Take
for
care, everyone.
having me. You take care.
You are so welcome.
Okay?